Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. For those of you who know already, or those of you who don't, my name is Nicole, and I'm the Parent Support Worker for the Niagara Catholic District School Board EarlyON Child and Family Centers. I am here today for our weekly conversation in which all parents, grandparents, guardians, and caregivers are welcome. Our program topics revolve around ensuring you feel well, confident, and present in your parenting or caregiving role. As always, if you are unable to sit with me now, you are welcome to warm up your coffee and sit with me at a later, more convenient time. Just don't forget to click the save button on this video so you have an easier time finding it when you are ready to watch. I'd like to start off with my personal disclaimer for any new listeners. I have a master's degree in child and youth studies and a bachelor's degree in both child and youth studies and psychology. I come to this position with a lot of research experience, but I am not a parent myself. I may be here to share my professional knowledge and experience, but you are the expert on your children, and I seek out and value the perspectives and knowledge that you have. You are important contributors with unique knowledge, experiences, and strengths. For this reason, I want our weekly conversations to be collaborative and that I hope to have the chance to learn from you as well. For this reason, I welcome all comments, ideas, and suggestions for weeks to follow. This week we have a very special guest, Donna, to join our coffee and conversation for an extra special, quick, and easy stretching sequence. And believe me, this week is just as useful for me as it may be for you. I got to dress up in cozy clothes for work today, and I get to join you in this gentle stretching sequence, and I cannot wait. But first, you get to drink your coffee while it's hot and listen to me. Let's recap real quick. The past 2 weeks, you have hopefully been testing your ability to practice mindfulness and grounding, as well as passing this new knowledge on to your minis. We know through breathing and grounding techniques that you are able to find yourself present and aware of the here and now. We discussed why these things are important and how you might implement them into your daily routines. So I'll just take a moment to highlight some of the wonderful comments, or one of the wonderful comments from our conversation about grounding last week. One of our listeners commented, and I quote, "I practiced being grounded and it helped me feel calm. When I was in a long lineup, I took a moment to notice my 2 feet planted on the ground. Taking my awareness to my body helped me calm my mind and I felt better. I now realize I can focus on being grounded at any time in any situation." What a wonderful comment to receive. I'm so glad that you shared this with us, and I hope you continue benefiting from our weekly chats. Now, to tie our previous weeks together, I'm going to talk about self-care. An article by Raphael Michael for PsychCentral.com defines self-care as an activity that we do deliberately in order to take care of our mental, emotional, and physical health. She also reminds us that self-care is not something in which we do not enjoy doing. It's actually the exact opposite. So it's about taking time to do something for ourselves that makes us feel good and refueled, and we can't do that with a task that makes us feel angry or frustrated. It's important to note that self-care is not, I repeat, it is not by any means selfish. As I've said before, and I will continue to say, to be the very best parent or caregiver you can be, you have to take care of yourself first. While I promised a quick stretching sequence with Donna today, I want to note that it is not the only form of self-care. In fact, you simply couldn't be prescribed any specific type of self-care because it will be unique for everyone. In an article for PositivePsychology.com, Anna Catherine Schaffner outlines 2 main contributors to self-care. Number 1, you need to understand your true needs. So some activities will restore us, while others will bog us down more than before we attempted to practice self-care. For example, my partner's form of self-care is spending hours disconnecting at a skate park. If I did that, I'd be causing myself more grief and stress than before I entered the skate park. So you probably already know what healthy habit you have that makes you feel amazing afterwards, whether it be a bubble bath, working out, doing yoga, painting, journaling, and so on and so forth. The second piece of self-care that Anna mentioned is practicing self-compassion, which I think is sometimes forgotten. It involves managing the way that we talk to ourselves. As she stated, and I quote, "To take better care of ourselves, we need to work on cultivating a kinder, more compassionate voice." Imagine how ineffective our self-care would be if we completed activities like yoga with the preset that, gosh, I never do anything for myself if I don't completely shut off for the next 15 minutes and meditate during this yoga class, then I am failing myself and everyone that I care for. Golly, that really sounds awful. I would have totally ruined my experience of self-care through that sabotaging self-talk. I will link in the comments a great resource by Dr. Kristen Neff, who is one of the world's leading researchers on self-compassion. She defines self-compassion as being the way you react to yourself in moments where you are struggling, suffering, or failing. She stated, and I quote, "Instead of mercilessly judging and criticizing yourself for various inadequacies or shortcomings, self-compassion means you are kind and understanding when confronted with personal failings. After all, whoever said you were supposed to be perfect? And perhaps, most importantly, having compassion for yourself means that you honor and accept your humanness." So, swinging back to the idea that there are many forms of self-care, Anna provides a link to a self-care checklist that outlines some examples of self-care in emotional, physical, social, professional, and spiritual domains. Some examples from each area are as follows. Emotional could be practicing self-nurturing activities like having a long bath or a gentle walk, or even unplugging from technology like social media. Physical could be drinking enough water or exercising outdoors. Social could be doing fun activities with others or spending quiet, private time with a partner. Professional could be socializing or bonding with coworkers or taking regular work breaks. And finally, spiritual could be practicing gratitude, praying, or enjoying outdoor and nature time. Another great resource for self-care that I will link below is called the Self-Care Wheel. This wheel is used to visualize the different forms of self-care, demonstrate for us how we are performing in self-care, and finally to help us conceptualize that all domains of self-care are interconnected and equally contribute to our overall well-being. I'll let you take a look at this resource and let you decide if it is helpful for you, so I will link it in the comments below. My final comment regarding self-care is just to connect it to our pedagogy for learning, to allow you to connect this new or old skill to your minis. Self-care can connect nicely to the two foundations for learning that we have already talked about, well-being and engagement. Knowing how to care for yourself will help you teach your mini how to care for themselves in times where you are not available. And you can encourage their self-care to revolve around their engagement in exploration of the earth. As the document How Does Learning Happen tells us, outside play is like magic. In addition to physical benefits, it can contribute to strengthening perception, attention, creative problem solving, and complex thinking. During outside play, children can gain independence, learn to persevere, and practice self-control. So there are multiple wonderful benefits to your child practicing self-care outside in nature. I will link a few more resources below as well that will help you start your brainstorming in ensuring that your kids can self-care as well. But without further ado, let's enjoy some self-care time together and practice our mind-body connection through some gentle movements. I'll invite Donna now to talk you through this gentle movement sequence that I will demonstrate behind us.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Well, hello everyone. How are you? I'm just going to place my cup of coffee right here. Nice to see you. So please join Nicole in a seated position. Hopefully you have something comfortable on. It can be on a mat or it could be on your floor. And just remove your socks if that's comfortable for you at the moment. Hopefully you have a place where you can so that you won't be distracted. I know that's hard as a busy parent, but if you can just take a few moments to find a quiet place so that you can enjoy this for yourself. So what we're going to do through our movement and our practice today is to unite our mind and our body and our spirit. So tap into our inner wisdom and bring our awareness to our breath and to our body so that it helps to still our mind. Because our mind can go in many directions. And so to be mindful and be present in this moment, we're going to focus on our breath and our body awareness. We're going to begin with some centering and then a few warm-ups and then some gentle movements and stretches. And we're going to finish up with a wonderful little shavasana for you as well to enjoy. So if you're seated, let's begin. You may find it more comfortable with a little pillow underneath your bottom and help you lift you up a little bit. But if not, just sit on your mat or your floor. And try to think of yourself sitting really nice and tall, as if there's a plumb line coming out of the top of your head. Okay, that's it. And so your shoulders are stacked over your hips. You're pulling in your navel, your belly button. Your hands are just gently placed on your lap. So I invite you to close your eyes. And let's begin by just focusing on our breath. Place one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. And as you take an inhale in, just notice. And then slowly exhale. Pay attention to what's happening in your body. As you inhale, your chest lifts, your belly expands, and as you exhale, everything just softens. Inhaling in and exhaling. As you breathe in, think of the word calm. And as you breathe out, think of the word relaxed. And just rest your hands down again. So anytime during our practice when your mind wanders, and it will, just come back, bring your awareness back to your breath and focus on your inhales and your exhales. So in a seated position, we're going to begin with some neck rolls. So we're going to draw with our nose a U. You can go to your left first and then come back, drawing a line to the right. And just slowly back and forth, drawing with the nose the letter U. And then bringing your head back to center. And we're going to do some shoulder rolls, rolling them forward. And then rolling them back. This is good any time of the day. This can be done when you're seated at your desk or when you're driving. Well, you have to be careful when you're driving, but okay, and then just come to stillness again. So now this time, bringing your right arm up and over, we're going to bend to the left with our right hand over our right ear. And then bringing your right arm back down, and then this time to the other side, the opposite side. So your left arm is above your head and you're bending towards the right. And then bringing your arms back down. So for this next posture, what we're going to do is bring your right hand to your left knee and then look around behind you and bring your left hand behind you. That's it. You can see Nicole demonstrating it in the background. Don't crank it or anything, just gently look over your left shoulder. And then come back to center. And we're going to do it on the right side. So bringing your left hand to your right knee, and then reaching around with your right hand this time, and then looking over your right shoulder. Again, just nice and gentle. And then coming back to center. Do it one more time. Right hand to left knee, come around to the back. Bring your hand back. Reaching with your right hand back. Looking over your right shoulder, and then come back to center. Okay, from here, we're going to transition. And when you transition, try to be mindful of your movements, being sort of gentle and flowy with your movements when you go from your seated posture into a tabletop position, where your knees are centered underneath your hips and your hands are stacked or underneath your shoulders. That's it. So nice flat tabletop position. So from here, I'd like you to take a breath in and just exhale, nice and slow. So on your next inhale, I'm going to ask you to drop your belly and bring your head up into cow. Then, as you exhale, bringing your head down and arching your back up into cat. And just do that sort of a gentle flow. Inhaling, dropping your belly, exhaling, arching up. One more time. Inhaling, dropping into cow, arching up into cat. And then just come to stillness. Okay, for the next posture, we're going to work a little bit on our balance here. It's called bird dog. And so bringing our left leg straight back behind us, that's it, and reaching out with the opposite side, reaching out with your arm. And as if you're going to shake someone's hand in front of you. That's it. And so you want to be sort of feeling that stretch in opposite directions. Back with your foot and forward with your hand. Nice long stretch through your body. And then bringing your knee and hand back down to the ground. And let's do that opposite. Right leg back straight out and your left arm forward. That's it. Again, reaching and pushing with your foot in the opposite direction. Lovely. And bringing both hands and both knees back down to the ground. Okay, from this position, we're going to go into downward facing dog. So by pushing your foot, placing your hands a little bit forward, tucking your toes under, and then pushing your bum up to the sky. That's it. And seeing that this is our first downward dog, you just sort of want to walk that dog out by taking gentle little walks, bending your knees, and walking your dog. Have your feet a little bit further apart. That's it. So from here, I'd like you to step, hop up to the top of your mat, and then nice and slow, stand up really nice and tall into mountain pose. Look at that. Wonderful. So this is a really important posture for us because oftentimes, we catch ourselves slouching or whatnot, but it's wonderful to take a moment to find a really wonderful mountain pose here. So let's just place our arms down to our sides. So the idea here is to think of that plumb line again, pulling up through the top of your head, making it really nice and long. Your neck is nice and long. Your shoulders are stacked over your hips over your knees over your ankles. So you're this wonderful, fierce mountain standing there, right? And if the wind came over, or if anybody came by, they wouldn't be able to push you over. You're nice and strong. Your feet are both planted. They're grounded on the floor, on your mat. Just wiggle your toes up and then wiggle them down. Feel all corners of your feet. You may even want to rock a wee bit from your toes to your heels, to one edge of your foot to the other edge. Just have some fun with this and feel yourself really grounded on the floor. I know Nicole's talked to you about feeling that grounding feeling. Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to do a sun salutation now. So again, connecting our breath with our body during this movement is just lovely. So bringing your hands to heart center, we're going to take a nice deep inhale in, raising your arms up to the sky. That's it. Exhaling a gentle forward fold down to the ground. Inhaling to a half lift. That's it, with your back straight. Exhaling forward fold. Inhaling all the way back up again to the sky. Exhaling your hands to heart center. Wonderful. Bringing your hands up again, inhale up. Exhale, forward fold, this time planting your hands to the ground and stepping back into plank. Now think of your plank here as a way of, obviously in building endurance, but also to stretch your neck forward, placing your head forward, your arms, hands are underneath your shoulders. And you can, if this isn't comfortable, you can lower onto your knees, if that's better for you, or come back up into a full plank, and then slowly lower to the ground. Wonderful. Sliding your hands back to your shoulder, we're going to lift up our upper body into cobra, just into a gentle cobra, and then bringing yourself back down, taking an inhale in, lifting up to cobra, and exhale, coming back down to the ground. And then from here, we're going to push up, power up into your downward facing dog once again. Again, just walking your feet, lowering onto your knees, and let's sit back into child's pose, bringing our arms forward. And just enjoy this posture just for a moment. Okay, so from child's pose, this is a wonderful posture for really, enjoying some quiet time, right? Now, if this isn't comfortable for you, we're going to transition into Shavasana. Some people like to stay in child's pose for their Shavasana, and others like to lay down on their back. So whatever posture is most comfortable for you. Right. And Nicole has chosen to lie down on her back. So let's just take a moment to ground ourselves, whether we're in child's pose or on the mat, and just feel our bodies being supported by the ground, by the earth. Let your full weight be supported. I invite you at this point to close your eyes once again and just notice where your feet or your heels are on the mat. Notice your legs on the mat, your buttocks on the mat, the arch of your back, your upper back, your shoulders, your arms, either resting in front of you or out to your side. And notice your head. Just roll your head gently from side to side. Unclench your jaw, just opening your teeth a wee bit, just to release your jaw. imagining smoothing out your forehead. Inhaling in calmness and exhaling out a sense of relaxation. So as Nicole mentioned, it's important for us to care for ourselves so we can care for others. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself permission. Take a moment right now to say to yourself, I need to take care of myself so that I can take care of my family. I hope you've enjoyed this session that Nicole has organized for you. I'm just going to play a song for you to enjoy for a moment during your Shavasana. So you can reap the benefits of your practice.
Well, I had a dream I stood beneath an orange sky. Yes, I had a dream I stood beneath an orange sky, with my brother standing by, with my brother standing by. He said, brother, you know, it's a long road we've been walking on. Brother, you know it is, such a long road we've been walking on. And I had a dream I stood beneath an orange sky, with my sister standing by, with my sister standing.
So just begin to bring some gentle movement back to your body by wiggling your toes, moving your hands. And when you're ready, roll over onto your side or come to a seated posture. When you're ready, bring your hands to heart center. Thank you for joining us today. Have a great day.